Hey, isn't this crazy about the Cowboys? For 25 years, the Dallas Cowboys had two coaches, Tom Landry and Jimmy Johnson. Okay? Think about this for a second here. The Dallas Cowboys for 25 years had two coaches that won 4 Super Bowls. Okay? Jimmy Johnson, Landry. After that, Switzer was kind of the caretaker. And look at all these guys. That's a typical Cowboy game. The Eagles don't drop games like that to shitty teams like the Cardinals. They just don't. That's not what they do. That's what separated them since 2000. They're not going to drop a crappy game unless there's injuries or what have you, like what Hurts last year. The Cowboys go into a game like that and get run over by Jonathan Gannon. Let's bring G. Cobb in. Holy cow, man.
Yeah, that was a classic, you know. But I'm telling you, part of it is Jerry's too close to, Dak and those guys. They're not feeling that heat like they need to feel. Come on. Dak knows he's not going anywhere. And, really, you need to feel the heat. I mean, the good teams are not going to permit that. People be looking up. They're going to be changes and things. Those guys are not in that. You see that there's not that sense of urgency. I mean,
did you see the guy on the sidelines?
CeeDee
Lamb quit on the play, turned and looked to the referee because he was trying to get a call. And I'm going like, Michael Irvin even told me, he goes, he stopped playing.
Come on, you don't do that, man. See, that's lack of that discipline and mental toughness that you got to have if you really want to be a champion. And you know what? As a coach, as much as you would like to, you can't be buddy with your players like that. You cannot be huggy, buddy, ha. No, there's got to be that side where, look, we produce here. That's what we respect. We respect guys that produce. And that's it. Yeah, we love you. Yeah, because you're producing. But you're not producing. I'm sorry. There's no jokes and all. No.
See, Garry, that's what they do great in Philly. They fall in like with their guys.
Yeah.
Not in love with their guys like
that's
Jerry
right.
does,
Yeah.
Jerry is always like, I think this goes back to Jimmy a little bit. And I'll tell you why. I mean, shit, you know what he was like. I mean, Jimmy was the bad guy. Jerry was kind of like the guy that went, hey, man, it's all good.
Yeah.
And he's lost that dynamic of the
he's
guy
because
he told him no.
Yeah,
you have to look at Michael Jordan with Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
Look at Belichick with Brady. There was always that one guy in the building to tell him no.
That's right.
And this has been the problem with Jerry since Jimmy's left. No one's told him no.
That's the problem. And you just got to keep that little gap there between you and your players, where this coach here, well, you huggy now because, hey, you had 3 sacks the last game. You're producing. You're playing great. You're working hard. But once that's there, hey, man, look, you're not here because, I got kids. You're not here because it was huggy. No. And see, Jerry, he loves the game so much. He loves football. So he loves the players. So he's like a fan around the players. Hey, you don't see like Jeffrey Lurie. He doesn't get in between the players and his coach. He doesn't do that.
He just doesn't. He allows his GM to be a GM.
That's right.
Coach to be a coach.
That's right.
Players to be. There's really a sense of a chain of command, more so with Philly than in Dallas. Let's get to tonight's game.
Mm-hmm.
What are your expectations tonight as they're in Tampa now against a pretty damn – hey, this defense is the defense that stopped Patrick Mahomes a couple of years ago that won a Super Bowl.
That's
and
right.
Garry, pretty much the same personnel is on that defensive side of the ball. Mayfield's playing better, but what are you looking for tonight?
Well, they got a challenge on their hands, and this is not going to be anything easy, man. I'm telling you, because You know, you've got, Bowles over there, who is an outstanding defensive coordinator. He likes to do these zone blitzes, where he's going to blitz, but he doesn't want to give up the big play. So he's got a zone behind this blitz. And a lot of times who is it? Antoine Winfield. He loves to blitz him. So if he's anywhere near the line, he could be coming, and they will play a zone behind it. So they're not going to give up the big play, but you'll be able to, if you recognize it, there's probably a guy in the flat will be open. You'll be able to get rid of the ball, but you won't be able to go down where you're going deep like they're playing man-to-man. So he doesn't do that. And they got Vita Vea there in the middle, who's hard to move. So if you're going to run inside, it's not going to be easy. And see, he's got a size advantage tremendously, over, Jason.
I don't really think Jason Kelsey's played that great this year so far in the first 2 games.
Mm-hmm.
And he's arguably got the best nose on him in the game right now. And they're in the top, 3 in rush defense right now?
Yeah, so running the ball is not going to be easy. And, they're going to have to take what they give them. Like, this is where Jalen's got to step in there and take those short passes. Whether you're working to the tight, the tight end and everything, they got some good linebackers with speed and everything. So what they're going to have to play well, and he's going to have to take what the defense gives them. It's not going to be where they're going to be. They would love to be able to just get up and start chunking the ball deep and everything. It's not going to be there. So they're going to have to win this game because their focus, he's putting the ball on the money. They're catching the ball. When they get an opportunity, they get a little room to run and screen and draws and things. They're just going to have to play a very good game because this isn't going to be easy. Now, the big thing I think it's going to come down to is they got to force a couple turnovers, And Baker hasn't been turning over the ball. That's why Tampa Bay has been winning. They've got a good defense. They got a good running game. They got 2 very good receivers out there, and
Evans is spectacular.
Yeah, Evans is, he's 6'5", 230 pounds.
Man.
And if he's one-on-one and he's, if he's one-on-one with a guy, they will throw the ball. He's going to throw the ball to him. So he gets
Garry, from a year ago,
get those balls.
Last year, the pass defense in Philly gave up 171.6 yards a game. And so far, over the first 2 games, they're surrendering 326 yards a game. So, and you got Mike Evans, who, and I told you this last week, Mike Evans, Garry, there's only one guy that's got more 1,000-yard receiving years than Mike Evans, and it's Jerry Rice. I mean, he's an underrated guy. He's 6'5", 238.
Yeah.
I mean, do you put Bradbury on him? Do you put Slay? Do you rotate?
Well,
how do you try to stop him?
I don't think they will rotate, but I would love to have Bradbury on him. He's been playing some slot, so time he's going to slot. I would have no problem. I think they might try to do that some, where you try to get Bradbury on him as much as possible because he's the best matchup. They're similar height and similar weight and everything, so that's the best matchup for the Eagles. But the big thing they've got to do is, they're going to have to play much better than they've been playing. You cannot play as poorly in their pass defense as they have been. They got to tighten things up because I think their pass rush can get there. See,
are you concerned about Reddick not having any sacks as we get ready for the 3rd game? Obviously, his injury. I'm not. Yeah. There's no shade on it. I'm just saying that. He's been a non-factor.
I am concerned. I know I didn't expect much out of him because of the hand, because if you can't grab the guy you're rushing, it's tough to pass rush if your hands aren't right. So I expect that they gotta find a remedy for that. I mean, they got to do something. They need him to start coming on because the young kids inside, you can't say enough about how well they've come along and they've been able to produce, but they got to get more from outside, and you like to see Hassan. You've gotten some stuff from Sweat, but you need Reddick to make some noise tonight. You definitely need that. But this is going to be a game where they need to force a couple of turnovers because I think that's going to decide this game. If they, of course, the Eagles cannot turn the ball over, but turnovers, if you ask me, are going to decide who wins this game.
How about this, Garry? If you go back and you watch the 22, and I did, and you see that Hurts is getting hit more. They've given up 7 sacks already. And you brought up Winfield and Todd Bowles, who likes to bring interior pressure. One of the things that Jalen has still been working on, because one of the things people had a question on him was in his face pressure in between the A gaps.
Yeah.
And to me, because the running backs have been so pathetic this year in the backfield and pass protection, we can look at the 5 guys. It's not been great. But if you look at the backs, they're some of the poorest graded guys in the NFL. That's got to be a concern too, because like you said, Bowles is going to bring pressure.
That's right.
And they're going to force him to move out in the perimeter, and they're going to move him around tonight, I think.
Well, that's what the teams that have played them, and both teams have come with 6-man blitzes where, you occupy all of the linemen, and then, the back, most chance he's got to pick somebody up. And so they obviously don't feel good about the Eagles pass blocking with their backs. So that's why, they're all bringing 6 men. And, they like to send Devin White. Most of the time they like to send him in the blitz package. So he's going to get a chance. He's going to be coming. They like the blitz. So there's going to be some blitzing. And what Jalen has got to do is he's got to take what they give him. He's got to read it quicker than he's been reading it, because it's been where he's looking, then all of a sudden his head goes down and he's looking to run. But because they've been blitzing like 6 guys rushing, all the holes everything's closed up. And so it also allows them to, if he's running where he's faking that handoff and taking off, they're taking that away. And what they're doing is they're making Jalen play the quarterback position from the pocket. And so far, he hasn't done a great job of it. But that's what you could see, that's what they said. We're going to keep him in this pocket. We're not going to let him beat us with his legs. And we're going to get to him so he doesn't get a chance to throw the ball downfield, even though, he's had a couple of completions down there. But for the most part, they've taken away his running, and they've taken away most of the deep balls, and they made him throw short, and he's really struggled. So we'll see how he does tonight. Hopefully he'll play much better.
You brought up Mayfield, and just some numbers on him. Now, again, it's the Bears. The Bears suck. They're terrible. He threw for 315, 132 QB rating. Mm-hmm. He did a fantastic job. And here's something, too, that most notably with him. Now, look, it's the Vikings and the Bears. This is a whole different animal tonight when you're taking on a roster like the Eagles. So it's going to be a complete upgrade when it comes to the roster that he's going to be. But here's the one thing where I think he's improved so much on. Under pressure, he's 5th in the league right now, 71.4. So to me, that means, they're putting him in a position where they're not asking him to have to carry the mail for the offense. Even though, Gary, the one thing that team does struggle a little bit on, last week they got a little bit of a running game going. They got around 75 yards last week. First game against Minnesota, they couldn't get anything going. But he's been protecting the football, and when Mayfield protects the football, he keeps him in these games because of that defense.
Yes, he has been standing in there and making good decisions, and times he scrambled a little bit, but he hasn't really. Just one time, I know a guy dropped the pass, which should have been picked off, but other than that, he's been taking care of the football. And really, if you want to win in the NFL, that's one of the things you got to do. If you're turning the ball over, you're not going to win in the league. And obviously, they've sold that to Baker. I told him to be conservative, and he knows, look, if I got Mike Evans out here one-on-one somewhere and I'm throwing it downfield, that's worth the risk. The guy's 6'5". Either he's going to catch it or nobody's going to catch it, especially if he's one-on-one. So he's going to go to him. And then, you've got, what's his name, coming across the middle. You got Godwin, who he's going to be looking for. A lot of times, it's going to be either Evans or Godwin for the most part. And Godwin's is a guy who's tough. He's going to catch that ball inside. He will catch the ball and take a lick. So he's going to be looking for him. And these guys get open. They were on the Super Bowl team. They were a key part of that. And so I'm sure they probably have sold him on certain things that they did with Brady. And they let him know, look, you got to have that ball here. He's letting that ball go on time and everything. And they're making sure that it doesn't get picked off if they don't catch it. So,
Gary, my producer Tone brought up something here too. That kid, Cade Otton, the tight end for the Bucks, he's not a household name.
Correct.
But the Eagle linebackers have struggled in covering. I mean, if you look at Hunter Henry and even in the other guy with the Patriots, those guys ate that middle zone up the entire time. And to me, this Cade Otton, he's a better player than anything Philly has at that linebacking position right now. So, that may not be a household matchup that they're looking at Bradbury and Evans, but here's a part of the game where you go like this. Well, what's the weakest part of their defense? It's their linebacker core.
That's right.
So he doesn't have to be Travis Kelce. He just has to be effective in there to move the chains and to help the running game.
Yeah, you're right. You saw the kid with New England, who he's not a great player, but he ran the routes, he caught the football, and that's all they need. And I would imagine they are going to attack them there because they're just not solid. They don't do a good job of communicating. It seems they are not aware of where everybody is. Like, you got to know where the tight end is, so you know where he is all the time. So you're right away ready to take advantage of, make sure you're in position because he's the one closest to the middle of the field. And so he could get open quickly, and you got to make sure either you jam him or you cover him. You cannot be just not aware of where he is when they do a play action fake.
Two last questions for you here. Do we agree tonight's game, that excuse then about it's early after week 3 is over? And because as you and I know, 3 games is a trend when we get our game plans for Wednesday, right? We sit in our team meetings, Gary, we get our game plan. They give you the last 3 weeks of the season of the year that the opponent you're playing. You see what they like to do, I formation or brown set, red set, what have you. We know what teams' tendencies are.
That's right.
Are we going to know a little bit more about this football team after tonight?
I definitely think so because, if they were to lose this game, if you think I would be surprised, no. Because what you just talked about, the pass coverage has not been good. Baker Mayfield he's got a good arm. He throws the ball. And the thing I would be telling, and I was joking with the guys telling them, look, get your hands up because he's not that tall. You can knock some of those passes down, and they're going to need that because he has been on the money with his throws. He's got a good arm. He knows this offense, and it seems like he's playing confidently. So it's going to be some batted passes or something, but they need turnovers in order to beat the Bucs. And I think this is going to be a close game. And if the Eagles lost this game, would I be shocked? No, because they got to play better. Jalen's got to play better. The defensive secondary and especially the linebackers.
You think Hurts has to win this game tonight in the pocket?
Yeah, I think so because I think they're going to make him stay in that pocket. I think they're going to make him beat them from there, and so he's going to have to be on the money with his throws, read the coverages they're in. He's got to take care of the ball because I think turnovers is going to decide it. So it'll be a battle between whichever one of those quarterbacks plays the best.
Okay, so like when you and I were in high school and we were playing Rippawam or West Hill and we put 70 points up on someone, that was like kind of not a shocker, when you put 70 on a team, right? You're beating the hell out of Rippawam, 70-0. You're like, hey, that's just Rippawam. I mean, to see an NFL team, Gary, put 70 points on somebody, man. And they took a knee.
I know. It could have been worse. They had plenty of time to score.
Tua played 2 quarters.
I know. I tell you, Miami, they're showing some things, but Denver, come on, are you kidding me?
I thought it was supposed to be an upgrade, Gary, with Sean Payton over Nathaniel Hackett. Those guys quit.
Horrible, man. And Sean Payton to come out there, the one guy's asking him, he's attacking the reporters. Look, the reporter should have said, hey, I wasn't out there playing defense. What are you mad at me for? That's just horrible. And, with Russell Wilson, I think he realizes he made a bad decision taking that job in Denver.
Hey, dude, the only day of the week he's happy is when that direct deposit goes in on Tuesday.
70 points. I mean, how could you give up 70 points?
70, Gary.
You know,
I hit refresh.
350. Hey,
Gary, I hit refresh a couple times. I went, no way. NFL game, 70 points. No
350 yards rushing and passing. Now, come on. 350 yards. Nobody was tackling anybody. That's
hey, it's like Stanford High versus Staples.
Hey, I'm telling you, man. Hey, somebody needs to lose their job over that.
Boy,
I'm sorry.
So do you think he benches Russell Wilson in the next 2 games?
Yeah. If it's anything like that, yeah, he's going to bench him. But I'm looking at the defense, though, man. There were guys trotting, guys running for a touchdown, and nobody seems like they want to make the tackle.
Patrick Surtain looked terrible.
Terrible, man. That was.
And get this. They played Tua half the game, and Jalen Waddle didn't even play.
That's right. He was hurt or something. He didn't even play.
70 points.
Hey, I would clean out that roster too. I would be looking at guys. Believe me, I'd have some new people in there. I mean, that's guys quitting and really just don't want to do your job. I mean, now if you don't want to play, fine. Hey, we can arrange that. You know what I mean?
Damn, man.
That was awful. That was awful.
That would really, and I like you said, man, I had to refresh it. Gary, have a great game tonight. Have a great call tonight. I really appreciate you doing this. Thank you so much for your time. Always, my friend. Thank you again.
Go Birds.
Let's see what happens tonight versus the Buccaneers. Doubleheader tonight. Absolutely so. Hey, by the way, we're going to take a look at week 3, bud. 70 points. That's stuff you do in high school or in college when you're taking on like Eagle Creek University and you're like, I mean, I seriously, I'm hitting refresh. I'm like, there can't be. It can't be 70 points, man. All right. Hey, looking forward to being in the Philly area this weekend at the King of Prussia Hooters for the 40th anniversary. And the official home for the National Football Show is indeed Hooters. And we're so proud to be involved with the Hooters Northeast guys. And we got a great text from them today. We're going to meet those guys out there this weekend. We can't wait to see some of you out there as well. Thank you again. By the way, log on to one of the 7 locations and enjoy tonight's game. Going into any one of the Hooters at northeasthooters.com. If you don't want to go into the place, you can go to hooterstogo.com, bring the food home, watch the great doubleheader tonight. Birds and Buccaneers kick it off for you early. Also, maybe you want to go in. Try some of the great specials we have. Buy 10 wings, get 10 boneless free. Wing Wednesdays, one of the 40-year traditions that we have at Hooters. 1983, the year the place was founded. All you can eat. Kids eat for free on Saturdays. 6 items, $6. All the great happy hours. Go to northeasthooters.com. That's northeasthooters.com. And when you go into any one of the 7 locations, do me a favor, tell them Big Sil sent you.